So, yay, I don't think he needs any introduction. I mean, if you've been following music at any point for any duration of time in the past 22 years, I feel like you know who he is. Even if you haven't been following music, you probably know who he is based off of all of the various controversies he's gotten himself into, the most recent of which being those Twitter rants last year. But set all of that aside because he just came out with his 12th studio album, Bully. And let me say this right now, I feel like Bully has had one of the weirdest rollouts in quotations I think I've ever seen. Like, it was announced at a listening party back in like 2024 and now we're here. It was supposed to release on his daughter's Northwest's birthday, but that didn't happen. Then it just kept getting delay after delay after delay after delay, and nobody knew what the fuck was happening with the record anymore. But then physicals got shipped out earlier this week as of me recording this, and then we finally got the album today as of me recording this. I'm really only gonna give like minimal context to this whole thing because frankly you don't need all of the context because it's very convoluted. There's so many plot holes there. It's just unnecessarily convoluted. So that's my job. I'm here to give you the Cliff Notes version. Basically, the album was announced like November of 2024. Then the Bully short film was released via Ye's Twitter in like March of 2025. All of the production on the album was very, very, very minimalistic, and every single vocal on it was AI. Keep that in mind for later. Then sometime during the year in 2025, we got official confirmation from Ye that the album was supposed to release on his daughter's birthday. A pre-save was put out and everything. It was like a really big deal. Then to everyone who was actually excited for the album's dismay, it got delayed until July. Very last minute, mind you. I'm like 95% sure, if my memory is telling me correctly, that it was delayed like 3 days before it was supposed to come out. Very, very, very last minute. Instead, what we'd get in June was a quote-unquote sample EP, which had 3 tracks on the album: Preacher Man, Beauty and the Beast, and a new one never seen before called Damn. All of the vocals were still AI. It's just now all of the mixes are just 100% bass now. Then continued the wait. We wait until July. The album gets delayed again. This time it's going to come out sometime in August, if my memory serves me correctly. And we get another sample EP. This July sampler had the 2 tracks, Last Breath and Losing Your Mind. Losing Your Mind wouldn't make the final cut for Bully, but you know, no more sampler EPs after that. What would follow next is delay after delay after delay. August release date turned into December, which turned into January, then February, and now finally where we are now, March 27th. The last month of the Bully quote-unquote rollout was probably the craziest of them all. Ye would have been found out to have signed with Gamma Records, probably for distribution purposes, and just overall, like, little bit of industry backing for this album that has had such a chaotic release date. Physical versions of the album, so CD, cassette, vinyl, were all shipped out this week, and we all found out that all of the vocals on it were AI, and some of the instrumentals were interpolated because of sample clearance with some allegedly AI tool. I say allegedly because all of the stuff regarding an artist as elusive as Ye, it's all speculation. Unless it comes out of his mouth, chances are it's just speculation, even from his own team, frankly. Then the release date of the album rolls around. 2 hours before the album is supposed to release, the pre-save disappears on all platforms. What would then take place would be a listening party, which was also live streamed onto Ye's YouTube channel. However, the stream VOD has been taken down. I actually watched the listening party while it was happening, and I recorded my thoughts about it at like 2 a.m., so that's why I sound dead inside in what you're about to hear, but here's just like my live thoughts after experiencing the listening party. Okay, so I just watched the Bully LP. It is damn near 2 in the morning for me right now, and the only thing I really have to say about it is just, what in the ever-loving fuck did I just watch? I have no clue what I just witnessed. And it wasn't even like the direction for the visuals, because I understand the vibe that Ye was going for there. It's purely in the music. I appreciate that most of the songs have real vocals, but Hearing the title track and I Can't Wait be fucking butchered like that just hurts, honestly. Like, it's, like, I don't even know how to really, like, say it. It's just, like, I have no idea what I just witnessed by hearing that. Like, we got real vocals on both of those songs, but at what cost, you know? And that's all of the 2 a.m. rant, because I have things I want to tell you now that I know more. So before I continue with the rest of this, I just saw this Twitter screenshot of a known insider supposedly saying that updates to the album are coming soon. I'm not going to talk about those unless this video doesn't get done the same day and it gets updated before I can finish this. Then I might talk about it. Yeah, that's it. Also, here's something I forgot to talk about in the rollout section. This album's track list, I think, was originally 10 tracks, but like the same week the album released, it got doubled, which was insane. Ballsy move by Ye, by the way. I just wanted to say that. But honestly, in my opinion, it turned out pretty good. Now, finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, actually getting to the music. Before I dive into the details of the music, I do want to say that the new songs generally, like on average, sound better than the songs that we've already had. Songs like King, Father, This Is a Must, Punch Drunk. You know, those songs sound on average better than like the rest of the stuff we've had on the album so far. Production-wise, I think this is some of the best stuff that Ye's made recently, just production-wise. Excluding 2 tracks on here. But especially after Vultures, both 1 and 2, and Donda 2, I think this is some of the best production Ye has made since Donda, you know? I am not in any way saying that the production on this album is better than Donda's production. However, after dealing with Vultures, and then dealing with that reissue of Donda 2, this is a breath of fresh air. In the production department, the track that stands out the most to me is probably King. I love the super gritty, like, metallic production. Father, which is also the track that has a music video and a Travis Scott feature, also kind of carries on the trend of super heavy metallic production. But it's not all super heavy, gritty, metallic production. Songs like Punch Drunk go back to that classic chipmunk soul sound that Ye built his career off of. The production also gets really beautiful and really lush and full in certain songs. Songs like All the Love, Mama's Favorite, and Highs and Lows all have production that's so lush and beautiful and layered. Might I add that hearing Donda's voice at the end of Mama's Favorite, it made my heart ache a little bit. Like, it really does go to show how much Donda had an influence on him. Like, it's very clear to me that Donda was one of the most important people in his life, and I feel like he wouldn't be where he is without Donda's support, and that, like, breaks my heart a little bit. So if you're on good terms with your mom, and I'm gonna get a little serious here, make sure to give her a hug today. Tell her you love her. You know, do that, because you just never know, you know? That got way too dark, goddamn. But anyway, speaking of All of the Love, that song had such a crazy, like, time. It started when Ye was going through mania, when he was making World War III. I refuse to call it by its actual name. And somehow it survived from being made at the very beginning of the era, I presume, through the Donda 2 reissue, to now be put on Bully and finished. And without AI vocals too! I'm pretty sure it has no AI on it. I hope. If it does, that's really disappointing, but like, still, it's legendary that the song actually made it through, you know? So yeah, like I said, the newer stuff is on average better than the pre-existing material that we have. Now here are my criticisms. While I am glad that most of the songs have real vocals, some of the vocal performances are really, really lackluster. The most glaring one being Beauty and the Beast. Let's be honest, when he is singing Beauty and the Beast, it sounds like he's half asleep. The second half of Preacher Man's delivery could have been so much better. Like, Preacher Man was the flagship song for the era. That is the song that defined the era for the longest time, and yet it feels feels like it kind of got done dirty, you know? I just wasn't really feeling the delivery on Last Breath either. I don't know. I know a common criticism of the album is that it's too empty and the songs are too short, but I actually kind of appreciate that. I feel like everyone's collectively just gotten used to everyone releasing like 5-6 minute long songs, and I feel like the empty production was definitely more of a stylistic choice than anything. Now, let's talk about the most glaring issue on this entire album. The AI usage. The entire last third of the album has AI usage of some kind, whether it be the vocals, an interpolation of the sample, or something else. Not even talking about the last third of the album at this moment. I'm talking about Bully, the title track, and I Can't Wait. Sure, it's a sample clearance issue. However, how hard is it with all of the industry connections and all of the tools you have at your disposal? How hard is it to just have someone sing the hook of the sample in the case of I Can't Wait, or just replaying it in the case of the title track? And even then, you know, the use of AI in the instrumentals, that's all an alleged thing. What's not a legend is the use of AI in the vocals. I'm honestly just gonna speed round this shit. Entire first half of Preacher Man, the hook of Circles, and all of Damn. It's honestly so disappointing, man. But then again, I don't think I can really be too mad at it, because I'm pretty sure that this man just came off of like one of the worst mental health episodes he had ever had, so it's reasonable. I just hope with those updates that hopefully they'll get real vocals on it soon and it'll be better. So yeah, overall, that's just my thoughts on Bully. Of course, I haven't listened to any of the songs enough to really have a favorite song necessarily, but I will say so far, I think probably like All the Love probably takes the spot. I think the song that's catchiest and that really like sticks in my head the most is probably Punch Drunk. Honestly, it's just really catchy, and I love the soul sample production. It's nice. And despite both tracks' problems, I think the title track and I Can't Wait both are great songs that I feel like if they were updated in the future, I feel like it would make them like top 5 on the album. So far, both of those tracks just barely don't make top 5 in my opinion. My top 5 for the album will be on screen now, and at the same time, my bottom 3 songs will also be on screen right now. Without contest, Circles is by far the worst fucking song on this entire album. The extra 88 keys production is so random and unneeded. Ye's chorus, if you can even really call it that, is still completely AI, and the mixing is fucking horrendous. Once again, I'm giving grace and hopefully it'll be sorted out with any updates, but come on, man. But yeah, overall, this is a really solid album, and I didn't think with Ye's track record this decade, we'd actually get it. It's not a perfect album by any means, but I think it's a good start for something great. I feel like there's still time for Ye to kind of turn around his performance this decade and really make it great. Overall, I think I'd give this album like a 7.5 out of 10. Not the greatest thing I've ever heard, but it's still a pretty decent album. Alright. I've had enough of this editing style. I'm here to do my own promo. I actually dropped new music yesterday. I dropped a single called Hope You See Me, and it's only out on YouTube so far. I just realized I forgot to put it out on Bandcamp, even though the page is all set up. So I'll probably end up correcting that sometime between now and when this video comes out. It'll be up on Bandcamp when I put out this video, actually. So yeah, go stream it on YouTube, go stream it on Bandcamp. You can download it for free, and you can put it in your local files. If you don't have the Bandcamp app, you can put it in your local files on Spotify if you just don't want to deal with Bandcamp. Point is, stream it. But anyways, that concludes my review of Bully. Have a good day. Subscribe. Go stream my music. That includes my album Water and the new single that I just talked about. Yeah, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.